So I think we need to go back to the very, very beginning of your journey so people can sort of understand just how far you've come. So talk to
Yeah.
me about what, where were you at yourself, both physically and mentally, before you even started thinking about hiring a coach? Take me back.
Well, I had obviously gained a lot of weight over the years. I'd say from being about 20,
Mm,
I'd really piled the weight on. I wasn't really doing much exercise. I was in an office job. And it was one of those where, people say it, and it is true, you don't really see it happening. I didn't really see it happening. And over the years, it sort of crept up and crept up and crept up. And I feel like I got to a certain point where I was like quite unwell quite a lot of the time. Like I was going to the doctors quite a lot of the time. And I actually went for a doctor's appointment once. And the guy, he kind of turned around to me and said, can I talk to you about your weight? And I was a bit like taken aback. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I think you've been coming to the doctors quite a lot. You're quite unwell and you're quite at risk of getting diabetes. And I absolutely shat my pants. I shat my pants. And he was like, would you mind if I get you booked in for a blood test? I was like, no, I'm not having a blood test. I was like, no, no. And I don't know if I was more scared of the blood test or the diabetes, whatever, it kicked me right up the ass. So
mm,
then I was like trying to look into stuff. Like I didn't know a lot about a lot of things. So I joined Slimming World.
mm.
Initially was really successful. Did lose some weight. Sort of stopped going because the culture was just weird. Like there were
Yeah,
people talking about like how many sins is in cough syrup, and I was like, even I know this is bizarre.
yeah,
Like we're talking about how many sins in cough syrup, like this is not normal.
yeah,
So moved on from that. And then one of the girls that I was working with, Amy, was your client.
yeah,
Really, really liked Amy. And I seen like everything that she was doing, and she was still like eating like things that she wanted to eat. She was doing really well. She was really enjoying it. She was bigging you up. And I don't know, just like the light bulb kind of went off. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna give it a try.
yeah, yeah,
Give it a try. And honestly, before that, I wouldn't have said that really I'd really thought that much
yeah.
about like the whole gym thing or anything like that. But like from talking to Amy and seeing how things had gone for her and how much she was enjoying it, and like she'd tell me about your workouts, and I just thought like, why not? Like I've tried one thing, I'll try something else. So I remember texting you and contacting you, and then when it actually came to it, I was absolutely pagging it. I got there and I was like, this is like the first time I've ever walked into a gym. I was like, like totally overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, so that's like how we got to the first step. I would say,
yeah,
um, and then I mean things have changed over and over again since then, but that was like the initial like how I found myself in the gym.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. I think that just speaks volumes for like, obviously because we both know where you are now and just sort of looking back and reflecting on that, like it's just insane, isn't it?
Mhm.
What were you unsure about before joining? Because obviously you briefly mentioned that you had that trust from Amy and just seeing her get the results. But even after you sort of reached out, what were you unsure about before sort of committing to having a coach? Was there anything that came up for you that you was a bit scared of or nervous about?
I just think the whole gym thing can be really intimidating for people. And also, when you feel a certain way about your body and you are a certain way, and all you see in like a gym advert or, like gym clothes or anything like that is like the perfect body.
Yeah,
And also, like, I think, like, obviously for me looking at you, you had the perfect body. And I think there's always like this mindset, even though that is your job and you are there to help people, you always maybe have that mindset that that person's looking down on you and thinking like you've put yourself in this position, you're unhealthy, you are eating badly, and you kind of think that that person's going to judge you for that. And also, like, there is a lot of bad talk about PTs. There
yeah,
is, and I think like that's why prior to me knowing Amy and her experience with you, I probably had a completely different mindset of having a PT in the first place, and the like the boils, like you know, like sleeping with everyone in the gym.
Ah, God.
So that's the kind of thing that you have this connotation of a personal trainer, and I think you do, and that's not fair to it, but you do. And yeah, like, so the mix of all of that and my insecurities was probably what was the fear, to be fair.
Yeah. No, but you're totally right though, because like it's all of that sort of stuff. It hasn't just come out of the net. It's probably come from, you might have even spoken to people at Slimming World or other things that you tried. They said, oh, well, I had a PT, and unfortunately there are PTs out there that they're not very good at the job, and they do pass judgment on people. So it kind of creates more of this fear. And like you said, because of that place you were in, it's so easy to just fast forward to like, what if I'm going to be judged by this person for trying X, Y, and Z, or what if they see me as less of a person because I'm not the same shape and size as they are, and vice versa. Yeah. So apart from swimming mode, was there anything else that you tried in the past by yourself before you?
Oh yeah, I took some like backdoor slimming pills once.
A backdoor slimming pill.
They weren't off the internet or anything, but they weren't from a shop. So, and yeah, I think that was just like amphetamine, really, but in a little tablet. So I tried that. That was a wild experience.
Yes.
But no, I don't think there's anything else. No. It's a weird one. You get up on a morning, and then like in the afternoon, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Like, where was your headspace at when you were trying those? Because I know for a lot of ladies listening to this as well, they might have tried that as well, and they might have even tried swimming mode as well. But I think a lot of people forget that in those moments, you're just trying to do the best with what you have available, or you just because you have that sort of panicking moment, you want results quite quickly. So talk to me about your headspace at that moment in time when you were trying the backdoor slimming pills, let's call them.
I think you just you are just desperate for a quick fix, and you just don't understand the work that actually goes into making a lifestyle change, I don't think. And it like everything is like promoted as, it is a lot of it is the media. It is, and it's like, have a couple of bowls of Kellogg's every day and you'll be fine. And I don't know, you're just so desperate to make yourself feel better, and like you so associate yourself and your happiness and your being with the way that you look. And so like you just it's just like this desperation to fix it. I just think you just get so down on yourself, and you just, I don't know, it's just awful. It's an awful place to be. And I think that, like in a weird way, like that needs to be promoted more, that you are in that place, because I think sometimes, like, obviously not promote is the wrong word, but I think it needs to be acknowledged more that you are in that place, and that it isn't just this quick fix, and you've got to fix the whole picture. Like, you can't. If I'd have lost all of that weight back then and not done any of the things I've done now, I don't think I'd have been any more of a happier person, to be honest, really. In some ways, maybe. In some ways, I might think, I can pick up this pair of trousers off the rail and they're a certain size, but I was never really addressing the whole picture. So
yeah.
And
I think, like you said, that speaks volumes for the fact that, at the time you just want something as a quick fix, but knowing what you know now, it does require like a lifestyle change for you to not only get results but to sustain them as well, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Okay, so let's sort of fast forward to, obviously got started and everything else like that. Let's fast forward to, what results have you got to date?
Oh my god, everything. So like I was trying to think about it actually this morning, like even like just like troubleshooting, which is absolutely bizarre for me to say that troubleshooting has come from me doing this, where it has, because I've like worked and like when I've like learned new things, or I don't know, like there's been like a new movement that I've wanted to do, and like week after week after week after week, and you're just like, right, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And like, you just like, it's just mad. Like, it's mad, because like now I apply that to my life. Like, I was like quite like, I don't know, like a short fuse person, which I kind of am now. But like, but like I feel like I don't know. I just really like look at things in such a different way. So I mean, like I've got so much more confidence. I feel a lot more positive.
Mm.
I'm a lot more well mentally and physically, health wise. I, I'm a lot stronger. I've done a fucking powerlifting competition. I know it was only one at the gym, but like that was just like unreal. Like,
Yeah.
like I've never had that feeling when I walked upon that stage and, like everyone was cheering and I did it and I did what I wanted to do. And I just think like there's just absolutely no way when I was strapped to a stair rail at Pure Gym, learning to hinge, that I would have ever thought that I would have got my fake tan on, put my shorts on, and lifted 100 kilo.
Yeah, that I think that just even that memory, I can remember it, the bloody purple band and trying to
I know,
teach you how
I
to
know.
hit. But it goes to show that everybody has to start somewhere, and it goes to
Mm.
show what you are capable of. And actually, you just reminded me. Let's unpack that day. Actually, the powerlifting competition, because I remember seeing you come out of the bottom of that squat, and you were so overwhelmed with joy.
Yeah.
The tears came. Absolutely loved it. So talk to me about that day and like how you actually felt doing the competition and what self-belief that gave you, because like you said, like you never would have thought that you'd been capable of doing something like that before.
Mm. I think like even up to that day, like obviously I thought when I said to you like I want to do this, I want to do it because there's so many things that I've done and there's so many things that I've enjoyed, and I just really, for me, this would be like a nice thing to do. I want to be able to work towards something. And leading up to it, obviously I had ideas in my head of things that I wanted to do or weights that I wanted to get to, and like, but I wasn't like too hard on myself about it. I was like, I just want to do it to see where I can push myself to.
Yeah.
And up to then, like, I knew that like there were things that I could do, that I could push myself. But that day, that day when I was in the bottom of that squat, and then everyone started cheering, and I just popped, I just popped up, and I was just like, I actually can do anything that I put my mind to. And
Yeah.
I was like, wind back to years and years ago, I had so little confidence in myself. I really did. I really did have hardly any confidence in myself, in life decisions or anything. And to think that like I can literally do anything I want to, I can do anything I put my mind to. And that comes from my self-belief. I'm like, the things that I've done in the gym, I don't know, I can't explain. It's just mad. It's mad. Because when people say like, but before any of this happened, and then I did any of this, when people say like, you get into the gym or exercise or whatever your choice is, and you get this self-belief, like you just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
wouldn't you
yeah.
wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. But to know that like my body can do that as well, like that I've gone from, having those awful moments of being so down on myself to being like, well, you know what, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna chop my hands up and I'm gonna do it.
Yes, girl. Yeah,
No,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, it's just mad.
yeah.
It's just mad, and it was just the best. It was just the most incredible feeling, and in a weird way, kind of like rounded up all of the hard work I've done for years.
Mm.
To be like, yeah, I fucking can.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And I think, like you just said before, I think previously you were in that headspace of maybe feeling like achieving things like that was too far away, or
Oh,
you tell,
absolutely.
tell yourself that story that it'll never happen to me, or I'm
Even a
that
years
person.
ago, even a couple of years ago, like well, obviously when we used to go to the gym and I'd see like Amanda and Al and Jamie and everybody else doing this powerlifting stuff, and I was like, I kind of felt like I was just in my lane, like I had my
Yeah,
lane, like I had my things that I like doing in the gym, like like doing some crazy stuff, like running
yeah,
around and like doing all this stuff, and I thought I've got my lane, and then one day I was like, no, I don't need to be in my lane. Like I don't have a lane.
yes,
Do all this stuff and I'm going to give it a go. And it was such a great feeling to like, because it was a daunting thing for me, really. Yeah, I'd deadlifted before, yeah, I'd squat before, maybe I'd done a tiny bit of bench, but to fully apply myself to doing that and only that with an aim to do it, I was like, I just couldn't believe it, really. I couldn't believe that I'd done it even then.
Yeah, it was an incredible achievement, and it was really nice for me to see on the day, like, you just have that realization of, especially on the squat. I think that was one of the biggest things. So overwhelmed with joy, like I was on the brink of tears as well, just seeing how like happy you were and like you burst into tears. Like I think that's just an example of like when, like you said, you reach that peak of the mountain and all your hard work's paid off, and you're like, shit, I've actually done it. I've actually done it.
Yeah,
It's incredible. It's incredible. And I think you've had like a few moments like that as well, where it's not always been a competition, but there's been a movement or a particular training where you thought, I'd never be able to do that, but actually like you really enjoy it, or it's challenging and like you just feel so much better for doing it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I was thinking like skier. Oh my god.
Still an ongoing battle, still an
Ongoing battle, but I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
And I cannot stand the skier, but I'm getting to a mutual place with it.
It's a mutual love-hate relationship, I think, at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We all still have things like that, though. I've still got things like that as well, so don't worry. You're gonna have that for the rest of your life when it comes to health and fitness.
I do love it. To be fair, like I like there could have been a point where I'd be like, I'm literally not doing it, and I was like, I'm just gonna carry on. As much as I really didn't want to, I was like, I'm gonna beat you, and that's it.
Yeah. It's you against you. It's you against you.
Mm-hmm.
So that touches briefly, like I think that's like a very, very small amount, like a small look into physically what you've achieved, because there's so much more. But I want to start to look into nutritionally as well, because I think that was a huge thing for you as well, like with your previous experience and what you tried. So talk to me about where you are at right now in terms of your nutrition. What have you achieved that, again, you thought that you'd never be able to do within your sort of managing nutrition and being able to enjoy your social life, not feel guilty?
Yeah, I mean, prior to obviously meeting you, like I had zero information about nutrition.
Mm.
Obviously, I knew like your standard, like you should eat vegetables, you should eat fruit or whatever, but I had like little to no information about nutrition. Once I'd started my journey, I think it became more and more clear that I don't know, it's odd because when I wasn't aware of it, I wasn't aware of how certain things were affecting me and my body and how I am. And then as I started working on things, I started realizing that obviously, like, I was having a lot of like gut issues and things like that. And, I was very much as well an emotional eater. I didn't know that about that. I was very much a binge person. It was, like absolutely hammering it, not just going out and having a few drinks and enjoying myself. It was like absolutely hammering it, and feeling a certain way afterwards. And I think actually I didn't really even initially realize all of these things. It was just like from the beginning, it was very basic what we did from the beginning. It was like, this is how much protein you can use your fist. Like,
Yeah.
I'll always remember the fist. The fist is like, honestly, the fist is the best, because even now I use the fist.
Use the
I'm
fist.
like 2 fist veg, 1 fist, 1 fist protein. Like, but that's what you need. You need like the basic of it.
Yeah.
Before you start getting like to the like when you first start out, like that's what worked for me. It's because like obviously now I understand loads of stuff like about macros and all that jazz, but like I didn't. Like, so the fish worked.
Yeah, the fist worked. And it still does.
So initially, like that's where we were at, weren't we? Like we were like looking at like this much protein, this much fat, this much carbs, and that did obviously initially is what I worked with. And then for a while, like I didn't drink really at all, and then over time started like reintroducing alcohol, but like when for enjoyment purposes, like on weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I just feel like once I didn't do it for a while, and I'm not saying that everybody has to completely stop alcohol and stop going out for food or whatever, but I think like you actually do realize how much better you feel. And prior to me doing that, I didn't realize how bad I felt.
Yeah.
Like you didn't like, it's just so used to that. Like that's just how you feel all the time, isn't it? But then once I like cut it out, I really, really realized like actually like I feel so much better.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, as I don't know what I was gonna say. So yeah, so that was that part of it.
Yeah.
So then obviously now when I'm going on holiday and things like that, I can still eat like what I want to eat, and
Yes.
I still have drinks and stuff, but like I find it much easier to balance the process.
Yeah.
Maybe the first couple of holidays I had, or like weekends or things like that, once I had changed my diet, I did still find it sometimes quite hard to balance it.
Mm.
And I would get like quite a big reaction
Yeah.
from my body from changing my diet and changing how I ate. Especially on holidays, like I used to really struggle on holidays, going on holiday from eating my normal day-to-day foods and things like that, to then going on holiday, I'd get like a hangover, really, like a stomach hangover from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've lost track of what I was saying.
And then, could you say, I remember you saying recently, like your trip to New York, that was the first holiday where you were
Oh my
able.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so when I went to Las Vegas and Los Angeles a couple of years ago, now, and oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but you can include it. So we got there, and the change in obviously the way that I'd been eating when I was at home to the change of being on holiday, and sort of like I didn't really know how to go from going at home to going on holiday and having an easy transition.
Yeah.
I like just like making it work so that I was having it both ways, enjoying my holiday food, enjoying my normal food, and keeping things settled. And honestly, at one point, the taxi driver had to pull over and find me a Target. We were in the taxi in LA traffic, and I was like, do you think there's a toilet in that gas station there? And he looked in the mirror and he went, no, but there's a Target around the corner. It's like, could we go, please? So like it was, I just found it difficult.
Yeah.
I found it hard to like transition from one to the other. Whereas this time in New York, I found it so much easier to like actually balance what I was doing, and that's through like work as well that we've done, like looking at like what does set my stomach off, like like nightshade vegetables, and like we dialed into that kind of stuff. And I can have a small amount of that, but it's not hammering it, like not going from one to the next. And I was in New York for a full week. I didn't get bellyache once. I was able to enjoy myself. I ate basically what I wanted. It was just making those choices and like easing yourself into it. And like, it's just so easy to, especially in America, to go like absolutely full hog with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, just my day-to-day life. And like, even like sometimes like, if I can, I just don't, sometimes I just feel a bit like off it or whatever. And I can like reflect back and think, oh, well, actually, maybe like a few times this week I've had like, I don't know, extra rice or whatever. And I can like really readjust it, and I can just correct it pretty much straight away.
Yeah. I think like you said there, like you're really good now at like making the mindful choices are quite effortless. Like, because it feels so automatic now. I think before the issue was when we first started is that like your autopilot response was to, like you said, like you were drinking a fair bit, and like the go-to choices were the foods, unfortunately, that just made your stomach blow up. But I remember actually thinking back to it. Do you remember when at one point I think I highlighted to you that like, maybe there's like a gut health issue going on. And once we actually started to like change it and test it, like once you felt the difference, you're like, I cannot believe that I've gone all these years
Absolutely
like that and not realized it. But I said to you, but that was just your normal, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. It absolutely was. And now, like if I do get like a bout of that, and often it is like for stressful periods, or if I've not been very well or whatever, like I just can't even imagine that was how it was. Like now, like I can just not fix it, but I can, like, I know all of the things that I need to do. I can like, start eating certain foods, drinking certain things. I've got certain supplements that I know that work for me. I know that a lot of it is based around like, like relaxing, meditation, things like that. And that all stems back as well to like the gym thing as well, because I, as a person on my journey, like I've been through some like hard times in my life,
Mm.
and going to the gym and having that hour to myself, and even if I don't get everything done I was supposed to get done that day, even if I just go in and I go on the bloody stepper and watch the Super Bowl halftime
Yeah.
show, I just always feel so much better, and I think it
Yeah.
just regulates my emotions a lot better. It's become like a coping tool in a good way, not so much so that like I'm absolutely hammering it and
Yeah.
killing myself in the gym, but having that headspace, it just gives me the headspace, and in turn that also helps. If I'm having a bad stomach time at that time, if I go in and I just do a little bit, I don't, it really helps, like, to
Yeah.
keep sort of churning over.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's become like you said, a tool to get some space mentally and just to
Mhm.
help self-regulate, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So the next question I wanted to ask you is, because I want people to realize as well that like across your health and fitness journey, even though you'll achieve certain things, you will still have things that you struggle with and that you're trying to sort of overcome, because it kind of like never ends because the goalposts keep
Oh
moving.
yeah.
So what do you still struggle with now, and how are we working to overcome that basically?
I definitely still struggle now sometimes with not looking the way that the fitness industry portrays a fit person.
Yeah.
So that is one major thing that I definitely still struggle with.
Yeah.
And it annoys me. I annoy myself with it because, like, honestly, there's sometimes that I've been in the gym and I've been doing something and I can see people looking and thinking, oh, yeah, she's strong.
Yeah.
and I know I am.
Are we talking about the one with the sled? The sled. Is
Yeah.
this the sled?
When I was doing my sled drag and there was that guy and I could see him and it was like an admiration thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you know what? And like that day, I'd up until that day for like a month or so, I don't know why it happens, but I just get like this niggly thing where I'm like, I don't have this perfect fitness body or whatever. And I kind of get into my own head and I think, well, I'm not the fit person that I should be. And until that day, and when he kind of smiled at me, and I was just like, yeah, I am. I am like I'm committed. I go in and and I keep setting myself new goals because I enjoy it. Like I enjoy it, and ultimately, at the end of all of this, my mental health's better, my physical health's better, and I'm a happier person. Like I am a happier person. So and we shouldn't just be looking at a certain figure. And there's like a girl I follow as well on Instagram. She's called like the Fat Olympian, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's been like the Olympics.
Yeah. I know who you mean. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I just think, and like I keep her on Instagram because one, she's ace, and two, I just think, well, yeah, like we don't need. And that's definitely one thing that I struggle with, and then I would say another thing that I struggle with as well is sometimes setting a goal and not getting to the goal. Like, and even if I know that there's things that were out of my control, and
Yeah.
I know that I've 100% committed to it, everything I could have done,
Yeah.
not getting to that goal, I'm really hard on myself,
Yeah.
hard on myself, and I find it really difficult. Even I've got better at it, but I don't think it's just I just can't. I just really struggle with not getting there. So like the things that I obviously do to remind myself is like similar to what I just said earlier. Is like you just got to sit and think about where you came from. You've
Yeah.
got to really sit and think about where you came from, the things that you've achieved, and just remember that like you're always learning. Like you are always learning. You're always on to the next goal. You're always on to the next thing. The way that you are in your fitness and your health and your lifestyle will continually change.
Yeah.
It will always change, but as long as it's still your priority for you in the way that you can prioritize it at that time, then that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. And that's how I have to reassure myself. I have to think to myself and remind myself that it's not always going to look the same. And
Yeah.
that's something that you've taught me. You've taught me that it's not always going to look the same.
Mm.
You're not your achievement one month is not the same as it might be next month. One month your achievement was you got a 100k deadlift. The next month your achievement was that you got yourself to the gym those times that you did. And
Yeah.
that is, you know, that's what you've taught me, and one of the major things that I've taken away from what you do. Tell me. Because you tell me a lot. But that's one of the major ones. That's one of the major ones.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
being able to apply to my life.
Yeah, no, I love that. But I think it just goes to show as well that, like, I think when you first start in your journey, we've all done this. I've done this, you know, when I first started, and before I know what I know now, is that you think that your process or your journey, sorry, is going to be linear, and that,
Mhm.
you know, even though we all know that life is chaotic, messy, and sometimes it's really overwhelming, and you get thrown a massive fucking curveball, we still sometimes have that expectation that regardless of all that, that then your health and fitness journey has to somehow be
Mhm.
linear, and just like completely ignore that. But like you said, like, you know, one month everything might go super smoothly, but then the next month you might get thrown a massive curveball, and the biggest achievement for that month was you showing up consistently
Mhm.
and getting that thing done. And that, you know, even though sometimes you might not achieve your initial goal that you set out, you've still been able to be consistently good
Mhm.
instead of occasionally great, and just sort of like drop off one week and then, you know, smash it the following, and then, you know, build
Mhm.
up into this back and forth vicious cycle. So I think that speaks volumes for just tempering your expectations and always meeting yourself where you're at, and remembering
Mhm.
the bigger picture of life and the life that you live outside of the gym.
Absolutely. And I mean, ultimately, all of these lessons I've learned over the last few years have kept me in the place I am now, whereas everything I did prior to that didn't.
Yes.
So, you know, like everything I did prior to that was always like quick fix, works for a bit, goes away, works for a bit, goes away. I'm upset again. I'm back in the place again. Again, I was, but like that, I've never, in the period that I'm in now, I've never found myself in that place. It's
Yeah.
looked different, you know, one year to the next, what I'm doing, but I've never been in that place where I've been like, I'm just going to give up and I'm done. Like, I haven't, I've never had that feeling of like the self doubt of like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I've had wobbles where I've been like, this isn't how I want it to be right now, but I've
Yeah.
never ever found myself having that little confidence in myself again where I've been like, I can't do this, I'm just gonna give up and I'm gonna go back to what I was doing before.
Yeah. And I think because you, and we'll probably sort of touch on it in a second when with the next question that I ask you, but I think because you felt just how much of an impact everything had on
Mhm.
you from starting that journey, it's almost as if like you can feel the difference and see it, and you're like, I'd be mad to go back to what I was doing before, because I know that I'm gonna lose everything that I've
Mhm.
built in so far. And that leads me into asking you, what has had the most impact on your life?
Like in the gym or
Yeah, oh, it just, you know, part of your coaching journey in general. Like, what do you feel like has had the biggest or the most impact on your life since you started coaching with me?
Hmm. I would say the most impact when I look back at everything and I look at everything that I've taken from my experience, my biggest thing is my belief in me.
Mm.
So my belief in me that you helped me, you helped me get, but my belief in me to be able to handle things in general. And that's what's absolutely fucking wild about all of this is when I walked into the gym, and I've said this before, when I walked into the gym, all I wanted to do was lose weight. And I thought, right, I'll go to the gym, I'll lose weight. That was it. That was my perspective on the
Yeah,
situation. And we're years and years later, and actually, yeah, I've lost weight. Yeah, I'm 100% fitter than I've ever been. I'm consistently fitter. I'm reaching new goals. I'm so much bloody happier. But like, I did that with
yeah,
like you helped me do that, but I did that.
yeah,
And would I ever have thought I'd have done that? Absolutely not.
yes,
Absolutely not. Like I did that. I did that. I did that. I went in. I showed up. Yes, I had you keeping me accountable 100%. But I did that. I did that. I got up. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning constantly. I got up. I went out. I went out in the rain and I walked and I did that and I invested in myself and I fucking did it.
yes,
And that has given me like beyond belief in myself, and it's just like my life is completely different. People that I know, I've known for a very long time. I can't believe how different I am. You know, like how much more confident I am, how much self-assured I am. You know, like I only do things that like I want to do, and it's just my belief in me, and that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's amazing. Oh, here we go, Rudy. Okay, he's on
Too
one.
long, Mum.
Knocking on the door, bless him.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that just speaks volumes. Like you said, like you've done the work. Like I've just given you the tools, but
Yeah.
the one that's gone and done the work. And I think we've spoken about it before briefly, but like the level of self-belief and confidence you've had, like, and it's seeped into every other area of your life,
Mm.
work, relationships, you know, friendships, all that sort of stuff. Like it's just positively impacted you, and I think in a way that you probably never anticipated that it would, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's wild. It
Yes.
is. It is. It's wild. It is, and it's great, and I love it, and I still love it now. Well, like, to be honest, when I first started the gym, I wasn't all that interested in exercise.
Yeah.
I just wanted to lose weight, like
Yeah.
means to an ends. But like, yeah, like the thing, even over the last couple of years, like obviously we've known each other quite a long time now. And
Yeah.
even after like a couple of years, like if you'd have put something in my face, I was like, absolutely not. And now I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a go, give it a go, give me it.
Yeah. You love it.
Time though.
Yes.
Let me just think about it for a sec.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, even like in the last couple of years, like even in the last couple of years, I think once my mindset had changed, not necessarily just, I think once, because obviously my ultimate goal was to lose weight, but then once I was losing weight and I have lost weight, but I think the enjoyment of it, and the coming in and like, well, last week I only did 6 and this week I've done 7, and like I just don't know. I can't describe, like, when you like really grind for it and you do it and you've committed to it, and it just makes you just feel great, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
You just feel great.
Yeah. I think, you fall in love with the process then, because like you said, admittedly, when you first started out, you wasn't really interested in exercise. And I think most ladies that want to lose weight are the exact same way. They just want, well, they have this belief, and even I had it at some point, again, before I know what I know now, is that like you think that the gym is just a place to go where you just burn the calories. You just do some cardio, you do some boring stuff that's just going to help you lose weight. But actually, once you get into the depths of how fun training is and how much stronger
Yeah.
you get and everything else, like it opens up a new world. And I think, lots of ladies, once they find what it is they love about the gym, I think they'll have that same experience that you've had, where it's like, okay, what else can we do? Like, give me more.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And then like, and how many rounds was that today?
Yeah. You're constantly trying to beat your score from last week.
Yeah. There's honestly no better feeling than like, even if it's just like a few seconds every week, you're like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's showing that you're sort of just pushing yourself in your own. You're not getting wrapped up in what everybody else is doing.
I know. It's mad. Like, it's mad. Even like I think as well, like because like obviously when we train, and we train to be quite calm, don't we? We try to be calm during movements. Like when we're doing like really high impact stuff, and like now, like I also apply that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in like a situation, like I'm really like I can really like calm myself down and like hold.
Yeah. Because your thing was, just to give people context, your thing was like when we were trying things that were a bit more intense in the past, like you naturally were just be like
0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
0 to 1,000. Then the T-Rex arms were out on the road, and I was getting more and more tight.
Season up every second, but like you said there, like your ability to, I think that's helped you build more self-awareness about that, and then realize that it wasn't just in the gym that you were doing that. It was like,
oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like when obviously you sort of taught me that, you're making it worse. You're making it worse because you're making it worse because you're getting so wound up. And it's true, I was making it worse because we're getting more wound up, hence the skier now better. But But yeah, absolutely. Like in normal life, like you've just got you can when you like, for example, when I'm there and I'm rowing and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and I kind of just take a deep breath for a second, readjust myself, and then keep going. And that is now what I do in normal
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Or I look at a spot on the wall.
Yes.
Just stare at that spot, and I'm not looking at the clock, and I'm not looking at how many calories it is. I'm looking at the spot.
Yeah. I'm getting the work done.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. So knowing what you know now, if we went back to a time before we started working together and I gave you a blank check, how much would you write on it to be in the position that you're in now?
Like millions. No, honestly, yeah, I would. To be honest, I couldn't put a price on it. I actually couldn't. I actually
Yeah.
couldn't, because I didn't know that I could be this person, and like this is not what I expected to get out of it. And I mean, I've told you so many times, but I just couldn't be more thankful for it. Like it's just, yeah, just my whole life is different. It really is.
Yeah.
Like emotionally, everything. It's just been a wild journey, but now we're here and we're at this really good place, and my life is so good and I'm so happy. And like I can go on these crazy holidays and do 187,000 steps.
Yeah.
And actually I was never out of breath. It was just the
Yes.
feet down. I haven't trained the feet. I was never tired.
Yes. Yeah.
No, you couldn't put a price on it. No.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. That is incredible to hear. And like I've told you many times, it's an absolute honor to coach you. And just I think, we've said it time and time again, but like looking back to where you start to where you are now, it's just incredible. And like I said, I think, well, I don't think I know that you are a huge inspiration for so many ladies. And hopefully when they're listening to this, they can, understand, and they can put themselves in your shoes and maybe relate to it from where you first started. Actually, just
I tell people all the time, like all the time, like I always speak to people, and like even like I told you the other week when I went for my facial, and we were talking about gym, and she'd just gone that morning, and I was like telling her, and she was like, oh, and I feel really, a certain way about being in the gym, and and all this way, and I'd previous, because I'd been telling her what I'd been doing that morning,
yeah.
and then she's like, oh, like that's so amazing, you're so good. And I was like, well, no, I was you.
Yeah.
Like, let me pretend. Don't make it out to be like this big, like Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
like I was there. I was you struggling to do a bloody goblet swat.
Yeah.
That's absolutely like, that's all I could wish for really, is that like there's, especially somebody who has had like struggles with weight and self-confidence and stuff, like all I could wish for is that people could feel that confidence and go in, and I know it's awful, I know it's scary, but like ultimately now I'll walk into the free weight section and push the man out of the way.
Yes.
You're gonna scare me.
Take up that space.
I'd love that for everyone. Like, there's even people in the gym now that like I know that I've got to speak to, and I mean that's another thing. Like people are really friendly. Like there's people that are still like I'd speak to people that are a bit like a bit anxious of being like in certain areas of the gym and stuff like that, and I'm like, absolutely not. You've got every right to be there. You've got every right to do what you do, to do what you want to do, to make them wait. Like, you've got every right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So that being said, what would you say to someone that's considering working with a coach, or they're just on the fence about putting the hand up and asking for help? What would you say to that lady that's in that position?
I think that as hard as it is, as scary as it is, the hardest part is asking for help. And once you've actually got that out and you've actually approached somebody, it actually becomes much easier after that.
Yeah.
But of course, it's the hardest part, and it is going to be difficult, and things are going to be hard. You're learning like a lot of new things, but the enjoyment that you get out of it is so worth it. And everybody started somewhere, and you should never feel as though you're less than anybody, or that you need to be really advanced to have a PT, or that you even need to have been in the gym to have a PT, because you don't. you don't need to have any knowledge. Nobody expects you to have any knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta, yeah, you just gotta try it. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes you also maybe think that you're going to go into the gym and they're going to get you deadlifting.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah. But you know, you just got to dip your toe in. But the hardest part is the first part, and then after that, it's all great.
Amazing. I love that. And then just so people have like a brief scope of like what you've got to come to look forward to, sorry, like what is on your horizon over the sort of next couple of years in terms of what you want to achieve in the gym?
For me personally, obviously at the moment, I really, really, really enjoy doing like circuit work.
Yeah.
So maybe I would maybe do a high rocks.
It's not a maybe. Back yourself.
But yeah, so that is something that I would make. Right, so yeah,
That's something you want to do, right? This is like in-person coaching going on right now. Like, you want to do it, we will make it happen.
Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that is something that I'm really interested in, because I just love I love like the circuit aspect of it. I love the feeling that you get. I love the variety of things together.
Yeah.
And I just love the challenge, to be honest. Like, I love the challenge. So I'd love that. I'm still loving my deadlift, because I just love the deadlift. I just like it. I just like it. I like all the thought I have to put into it. And I like the little nitty gritty adjustments and stuff. Like, I like that. Yeah, I like that, you know, you have like a little adjustment. It's like I love that. Like, that's great. But yeah, so I think like the high rocks thing, I'm really so yeah, that's what I'm kind of into at the moment. So like I kind of like the idea of you know, like when they call people a triple threat, you know, like you're a triple threat. I want to be like fast, I want to be strong, I want to be like really fit.
Yeah. You want to be robust. You want to be well-rounded, triple threat, robust. That reminds me of my dancing days. Like, oh my god, what movie is it from? Is it
I can't remember.
Oh, it's the cheerleading one. It's a
Is it thingy? Is it Bring It On?
Yes. I think it's Bring It On. It's like, oh my gosh, a triple threat.
Yeah.
Okay, wicked. Triple threat. I think we should make that a hashtag as well. Triple threat. Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you are a massive inspiration for so many ladies, and hopefully from listening to this, they will understand that even if they are where you used to be, or somewhere in between, that they can achieve what you have and feel as amazing as you do. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's been a good chat. It's been nice to look back, and I just hope that I can help other people just make that first step. And that's all it is. The first step is the hardest step. And then once you've done that, it's fine.
It's all good. It's all good. Of course, uphill from there.
Yeah.